Hello and welcome. Well, there is no doubt that during the last 40 years that you would have heard of SIDS and kids. And I'm sure that you can recall seeing people wear a bright red nose or driving their car with a big oversized one on the front bonnet, all in support of bereavement for sudden infant death and to research and to promote safe sleep techniques. Now, today, this extraordinary organisation has a new name, Red Nose, and we're here to take the time to understand more about their incredible work in the lead up to Red Nose Day on the 14th of August. To do so, we welcome our special guest, Paula Dillon. Now, Paula has been a midwife for 17 years and has experience in both the public and private maternity sectors. Now, she currently works with families both in the antenatal and postnatal periods for clinical assessment, support education, as well as facilitating childbirth and early parenting education for expecting parents. Thank you for joining us today, Paula. How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you, Rachel. Thanks for having me.
Now, Red Nose are famous for Red Nose Day, which originated all the way back in 1988 when they urged Australians to wear a red nose and to be silly for a serious cause. Now, 32 years later, it's hard to believe it's that long, but 32 years later, Red Nose Day is still a much loved and iconic national fundraising event. And as we just mentioned before, will be celebrated this year on Friday, the 14th of August. Now, you are very passionate about this in particular, and I guess helping break taboos around stillbirth and miscarriage. Also, using evidence-based information to guide best practice. Now, this is all prompted originally by your own experience. So just initially, can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience?
Yeah, no worries, Rachel. I'm a mother to three living children. Our eldest daughter is 16. And then in 2005, we experienced the devastating stillbirth of our second daughter, Annabelle, completely unexpectedly, 6 days past her due date. And I was already a midwife at the time, and I'd heard about what was then SIDS and kids, but never in my wildest nightmares would I have thought I'd be reaching out to them personally. So after Annabelle was stillborn, I received a phone call from a beautiful counsellor from SIDS and Kids and was put in touch with a support group, which I attended for a long time, and then went on to do some peer support of my own, supporting other parents who have suffered the devastating loss or death of a baby or a child. And yeah, my volunteer work has continued there. I now do some volunteer work on the phone line, and have just always kept my finger in. I've always had an interest in education, and I guess tying it in with my midwifery career and my passion and interest in education, and then personal experience of stillbirth. Now the Red Nose has just been an organisation that will always be very close to my heart.
Thank you for sharing that story with us. And midwives really play such an important role in educating new parents and families about how to care for their baby, including how to sleep their baby safely. And so on a day-to-day basis in your work, you spread safe sleep messages, helping keep families and the community overall aware of current guidelines and research about sudden and unexpected death in infancy. In saying this, can you please explain what Red Nose, their 6 safe sleep recommendations are?
Yeah, absolutely. So since, the early 80s and then moving on to the late 80s, and the research has informed these safe sleep practices. And they are always sleep baby on their back, not on their tummy or their side. Keep baby's head and face uncovered. So avoiding using hats, for example, because they slip down and cover baby's face. Keep baby smoke free, not just after birth, but also before birth, during pregnancy. Have a safe sleeping environment night and day. So that includes making sure the mattress is firm, that it's clean and flat, that it's in a safe cot that meets Australian industry safety standards, and making sure that there's no blankets, soft bedding, toys, bumpers, doonas, pillows in the cot around baby. Sleeping baby in the same room as parents, preferably for the first 6 to 12 months. And lastly, breastfeeding baby where possible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing those. And these, or Red Nose's safe sleep recommendations, come from more than 40 years of evidence-based research. And as a result, Red Nose has led the world in reducing incidence of SIDS by more than 85%, which is just an incredible, stat to be reporting on, and incredible work. And the recommendations you've just shared are evidence-based, with the view to sleep baby safely and reduce the risk, as we were just saying, of sudden unexpected death in infancy. Now, in saying this, we published Red Nose's article titled, "What is a Safe Sleep Environment for Your Baby?" For someone who hasn't yet read the article, can you please tell us what it's about and then what inspired Red Nose to write it?
So the article was inspired by some research, and some research about infant care practices and parent uptake of safe sleep messages.
Mm-hmm.
And that was based in Queensland. But it was prompted by Red Nose was prompted to write this, because there's still, the message is out there, but is it really being adhered to? So, they write these articles to provide evidence-based information to the community about those safe sleeping guidelines that I've just outlined.
Mm-hmm. So I understand there's been some quite concerning new research into safe sleep recently published in Queensland, as you just mentioned. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so the research article that I've just mentioned, that was a real eye-opener.
Mm-hmm.
It came from a survey of more than 3,300 new parents in Queensland, and it was published earlier this year in BMC Pediatrics. And you're right when you say that the findings were concerning. 3 of the main findings that they found were more than 1 in 3 new parents said they hadn't been putting their babies on their back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Also, 38% of infants were sleeping with soft items, bulky bedding, or sleeping on a soft surface. And only 13% of families reported routinely practicing all 6 safe sleep messages that I've just explained as well. And we know that these are all risk factors for sudden infant death. And we also know that no parent would willingly put their baby at risk. So it's really good to know this research, because this sort of research can inform future messages and education messages for new parents in the community.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have a link through to that article in the show notes, which also sort of clicks through to some other bits and pieces as well. There's some great hyperlinks in there. I've also read that more than 3,000 babies, toddlers and preschoolers die suddenly and unexpectedly in Australia each year. And, we're losing them to causes such as stillbirth, SIDS, miscarriage and neonatal death. Could you please tell us what is Red Nose doing to encourage new parents to ensure that their babies are sleeping safely?
So Red Nose provides a whole range of evidence-based supports
Mm-hmm.
to help new parents sleep their baby safely. So we've talked about groundbreaking research into the causes and prevention of sudden and unexpected infant death. But research then informs education for parents, and that includes the Red Nose Safe Sleep Advice phone line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a phone line that's available Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. There's also a Safe Sleep mobile app that you can download onto your phones free of charge. There's an online Red Nose Advice Hub, and you can access that through the Red Nose website, which is rednose.org.au.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you can have that link available.
Absolutely, in the show notes. Yep.
And this hub has a range of resources that parents can easily access in relation to how old their baby is or what topic they're interested in learning about.
Mm-hmm.
And Red Nose also has a hospital discharge pack, and that's got all the tools that new parents need to sleep baby safely at home. And once again, the key to all of this education comes back to those 6 safe sleep recommendations.
Yes. Now, you're an executive volunteer and Queensland representative for Still Aware. They're an Australian not-for-profit charity solely dedicated to ending preventable stillbirth through awareness and education in pregnancy. And I've met with them before. I think they're doing incredible work also.
Wow.
And you're also a volunteer parent supporter with SANS and Red Nose 24/7 phone line as well. So I'd love to know from that perspective, what work is Red Nose currently doing with healthcare professionals, including maternal and child health nurses, paramedics and first responders?
So Red Nose has been involved in a number of research projects as well.
Yes.
They're also involved with the Stillbirth CRE, the Stillbirth Centre for Research Excellence. And that Stillbirth CRE actually has not long ago released a Safe Baby bundle that you can access online. And Red Nose also provides a lot of education to healthcare professionals, including, as you said, paramedics, those first line responders, childcare educators as well. That's really important in the childcare education space, of educators that are caring for infants and young children, that they're aware of these safe sleep practices. Mm-hmm. It's not just for the new parents. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's really important that the community is educated as well. So if you are a childcare worker, you can go to the website and access some education. There's online education, and there's also some training that one day will be back to face-to-face.
Yeah, I know, with everything that we're going through at the moment. So all in all, I've read that Red Nose provides, education and training to healthcare professionals, maternal and child health nurse centres. They support new parents with information and health advice, as you just mentioned. And there's a whole heap of different sort of safe sleep training that they sort of do with medical professionals. Now, paramedics are often frontline with families who experience the death of a baby or a child. And from what I see also, that Red Nose conducts training for paramedics, and in particular in New South Wales, that is aimed at providing information and facilitating discussion with paramedics about appropriate support to families whose baby has died. And these sessions include New South Wales ambulance trainees, graduate paramedics, paramedics from the UK, interstate, and all of these things, which is just incredible work. I'd love to know from your perspective also, how does Red Nose support people who have been affected by the death of a baby or a child?
Yeah, so Red Nose, as well as the education and the research support, mm-hmm. they also provide absolutely vital bereavement support to newly bereaved families, and not even newly bereaved, families, grandparents, siblings, healthcare professionals as well, if they need some support, if they've experienced a bereavement of a child in their workplace. Mm-hmm. So, for example, a midwife can access some support from Red Nose if they needed to as well. Mm-hmm. So if, as well as the Red Nose website, the rednose.org.au, they also have Red Nose Grief and Loss. So that's another aspect to the organisation that provides support to parents and families who have experienced a sudden and unexpected death of a baby or infant,
child, yeah,
stillbirth or neonatal death, or a child as well.
Mm-hmm. So Red Nose provides specialist and evidence-based bereavement support from qualified counsellors, free of charge to anyone affected by the death of a baby or a child, from causes including SIDS, stillbirth, neonatal death and miscarriage, amongst other causes. And they also offer tailored grief and loss training packages, as you've mentioned, to workplaces that draw on their 40 years of experience of bereavement and counselling as well. So getting back to Red Nose Day, as we mentioned at the very start of this chat, how does Red Nose Day on the 14th of August this year fit into all of this? And what is Red Nose doing differently this year due to COVID?
So Red Nose Day, it is absolutely vital. It's a vital day to recognise this organisation and to help raise valuable funds for this organisation, so that we're able to continue life-saving, safe sleeping education and support. We rely on the generosity of Australians who really do continue to connect with the value of what Red Nose do provide in helping save lives. And as you mentioned before, Rachel, since 1988, since that very first Red Nose Day, there's been an incredible 85% reduction in sudden infant death. And that equates to more than 10,000 little lives that have been saved. And when you think of it like that, it's absolutely incredible. But there is still so much more to do. In Australia, there are still 9 babies per day dying suddenly and unexpectedly. And that's more than 3,000 a year. I know you mentioned that figure earlier as well. And due to sudden infant death, other fatal sleeping accidents and stillbirth. And so that's why Red Nose Day is still so important, because our work's not done until we get that number down from 3,000 to 0.
Yes. So how can Australians get involved this year then? And how can parents make a donation?
Yeah, lots of ways that Australians can get involved.
Yeah.
We can donate, or you can all donate now at rednoseday.org.au/donate.
Yes.
Or you can visit rednoseday.org.au for a range of ways that you can get involved. And because it is going to be a little bit different this year,
I'll say that
2020 has raised its lots of unexpected things, hasn't it, with COVID? So we've had to make way for that and created a range of digital options to help physical distancing Australians get involved from the comfort of their own homes. So that includes Australia's first digital Red Noses, and we've also got our online Red e-tin rattle. So for more information on that and to explain what that's all about, you can jump on rednoseday.org.au/get involved. And you can still buy actual Red Nose Day products. So you can still get the car red nose and people red noses and pens and pins and little toys. But we recognise that some supporters are unable to participate in the way that they usually would. So you can purchase those online via the Red Nose website, or you can actually go to Big W to purchase those items that are all individually wrapped to help keep them COVID safe
as well. Wonderful. We've covered a lot of information today, Paula. We'll make sure, obviously, all of those links are in the show notes for everyone to access. But if you were to, I guess, summarise some of the most important key messages from our chat today, what would they be?
Thanks for the opportunity, Rachel. The key messages would be going back again to the safe sleep guidelines, and those safe sleep messages are sleep baby on their back, keep head and face of baby uncovered, keep your baby in a smoke-free environment before and after birth, have a safe sleeping environment night and day, sleep your baby in your room, and breastfeed wherever possible.
Wonderful, critical and very important messages. And once again, we'll have all of those links for parents to donate to this very important cause. And this is something that shouldn't just be brought up in conversation just once a year. This is something that needs to be sort of lived, eaten, breathed every day, as you said, with the safe sleeping recommendations, and by all means to continue supporting their incredible work. But thank you for your time today, Paula. Take care, stay safe, and speak again soon.
Rachel.
Okay,
Cheers.
thank you. Okay, bye.